Hey everybody, welcome to Popular Unknown Paintball Live. So sorry about the delay, having a couple technical difficulties, but we are good to go now. Today was a bit of an unscheduled event. I had one guest, something happened. I've got a new guest. He's fantastic. Kevin Donaldson, team captain of the Master Blasters. What can I say? Like, the man's an icon. But we're mostly going to be talking about the Woodsball Cup 2020 in New York that's going to be happening soon. They're looking to get some more teams in. They're looking to get a little more play going on. Obviously, COVID has everything acting a little funny. So we are here with the guy that is, I believe he's behind the reffing. He can tell me more about it when I get him on. But yeah, so please help me welcome Kevin Donaldson. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Steve. How are you?
I'm awesome. I've been wanting to get you on this show for a while. It's just you're doing one thing, I'm doing one thing. We just keep going back and forth. So I am so glad to have you on now.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And I know you're not a big fan of talking about yourself, so I covered it a little bit. You are team captain of the Master Blasters, correct?
That is correct.
Awesome. When did you start playing roughly?
1980, April of 83.
83. I talk to most people. I started at 89, and I'm just sort of like, I'm old school. You just sort of take it as like you get to call me young punk. So yeah. I'd prefer if you didn't, but
no, I respect everybody in paintball, you know.
Yeah, no, once you get past 10 years, that's as far as I'm concerned, once you put 10 years in and you've gotten past that 7-year drop off, then you're an old schooler. That's just the way I see it, because everything's got stages. That's just my personal opinion. But okay. By the way, I what do you think? I drew a hand on my mic cover.
I saw it. It looks good.
I got a Sharpie out. It was like, oh, I have to. So
the hand.
Yeah.
Well, that's your trademark. So you know why not?
Is. So yeah, most people don't know that logo, by the way, is my actual hand. I took a print and I stamped it and I scanned it and I put it in. So it's 100% me. So
all right, cool.
Yeah. And that's awesome. Oh, we got somebody here saying, I love Kevin Donaldson.
Oh boy. Who's that?
I'm not entirely sure.
Whoever it is obviously doesn't know me.
So, 1 second. Let me just fire up my phone here so I can see what's going on. And so the main thing about, why we wanted to talk today was to really push the, it says Nerd Steve says Weasel. So I guess it was Weasel was talking to you.
Hey, Weez. What's up, brother?
So we want to talk about Woodsball World Cup. By the way, I wish I was going. Like, I really do. I don't even think my borders will be open for me to come down for it. So
no. It's not. I spoke to Jay Balaka, and I were messaging back and forth about a half hour before I came on here, and he was hoping the border would be open, and he really wants, because he played it last time I had it.
Okay.
And he's like, it was the best time I ever had. I was looking forward to this event. I'm like, what can we do? This virus it's kicked all of our asses. There's nothing we can do about it,
Yep. All right. So I'm just setting my phone over here, and I'm cheating. I'm just going to set it right there so I can now read who makes the comments, because if they didn't click on the stream live when they entered in, I can't see who all is saying it. But that right there, Kevin Donaldson legend, that is Hanu.
Oh, DJ, my brother, another brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate everything he does for the sport. That's for sure. He's a good man. He's
pretty cool. I've had him on a couple times talking about various things. So yeah, I've
seen it. I watch.
I know. Thank you so much for supporting the show just by watching. Like, as I can see your name swing by on a regular basis, and it's just sort of like,
yeah. I'm always chiming in. I always got to put my, set the record straight occasionally, and
occasionally. Like, what was it that was it the termite that was Kathleen's guy? I think.
Yeah, Kathleen's termite, and then a couple other times, names got forgotten or whatever, and I straightened it out. But that's what happens. That's what happens when you're around forever.
Yeah.
I mean, every innovation, everything that's ever happened in this game, I've probably been a close friend to the person that did it. I can't imagine very many that I wasn't involved with one time or another in this game. So
yeah, because
I'm fortunate to have a very good memory. So those of you that wrong me know I have a very good memory.
Well, because I play in Toronto, up in Canada, it moved slower up here. So a lot of the innovations didn't come up as fast. So the only real innovation that I never did was I never played with oil-based paint.
Oh, okay.
But when I started, it was those little boxes of CalMag, Nightmare, and that was and UVEX goggles, like that's how I started. So
Yeah. No, I think I've been involved in just about everything that's ever happened. I mean, not much happened between 81 and when Howdy, Jim McGuffick, and I started playing together. And, it just was, everything happened after that. There was no innovation before, except maybe the way the waivers changed on an NSG form, or a brochure changed or something. That was about as much, change there was in that first year and a half.
Right. So yeah. World Cup. That's what I really wanted to have you on, because I know there's Woodsball World Cup. I should clarify.
Right.
I know there's a lot going on. And how many teams were you guys originally planning on hosting before all the craziness happened?
We were capping it at 20 amateur and 20 open teams.
So 40 in total.
And we weren't using any ranking systems. You just declared where you wanted to go, and it was fine.
Okay.
We had 38 before the virus.
Nice.
So like in the first month or so, we had 38 teams. Today, 7.
Wow. It's understandable. Like, I mean, it sucks, but it's understandable.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So now I know that the Master Blasters are going to be the main refs for the event. Now, what is your role with everything that's going on right now?
As far as promoting the event or reffing the event? And I'm pretty much Jerry Braun and I, just so everybody understands, Jerry Braun, who owns Paintball Sports New York, the paintball field in Newburgh, New York, formerly Survival New York, which is the oldest paintball field in the world existing today. All right, that's it. Nobody's got a field older than Jerry. This location is it.
Okay.
Jerry and I are partners on this event. Okay. Jerry provides, the infrastructure. Jerry provides the fields. Jerry provides, all of the, the money end of the thing that I don't want to collecting funds, et cetera, et cetera. And I pretty much manage I'm responsible for building the fields, staging areas, running the event, and of course, the reffing crew. But the actual ultimate judge for this event is Bobby Rosie.
Oh, so, cool.
Yeah, Rosie's our ultimate judge. Rosie is the man. So Rosie actually will run the operations on the fields. So that's pretty much what it's about.
Well, that's awesome.
Rosie, and all the blasters will obviously do the judging. I mean, you're too young probably to remember and never attended any of the old World Cups, but we did all the reffing back in the 80s for Jerry.
Right.
So we reffed the first World Cup. We were at the second World Cup. We did the ASO Players Cup the third year when there was no World Cup before we moved to Kissimmee, Florida. I myself at that time was an ultimate judge on a field.
Right.
Rosie was an ultimate judge on a field, and we had an individual ultimate for each field. So majority of the crew that I have reffing this event are those same guys that ref those events.
That's awesome.
So you're talking about a bunch of guys that have been playing the game damn near 30 years together and have been reffing for almost 30 years together. Because every event that's ever been held at Jerry's, we pretty much handled, not big games or anything like that. We don't do that. But any competitive tournament style paintball that's been at Jerry's, we're the guys that did it. So
surprisingly enough, I've never played paintball in New York. And most of my reffing back then, even I did come to the States to ref, but most of my reffing was for big game, and I did very little tournament reffing except for small stuff, and I ref skyball and things like that. But I was never NPPL and that.
Right.
That I was out of that circuit. So, but
Well,
yeah,
we did that. In fact, the original NPPL, the Blasters were the team that handled everything from the air stations to the reffing, the training refs. We were responsible. I mean, I was on the original rules committee for that, so I wrote the rules. But it was simple because we basically incorporated the rules that I had for the ASO Players Cup in '92 and just kind of made a couple tweaks to it. So that was a
Nice.
simple transition. Is what I did in '92 is I held an event called the ASO Players Cup. At the time, I owned a paintball, 5 paintball stores, Action Sports Outfitters here in the New York area. And, that was like my highlight event for my business. So that was the first paintball event that ever had bring your own paint. Was one of the first events where we used a judging system that we had kind of invented. We're the only ones to date that I think that use it. We called it radio zone judging, where you don't judge running around like a bunch of madmen, you judge with radios. So everybody's got a radio, and instead of like the way we judge it is every judge gets a zone. They're responsible for that zone, but I'm not checking the players in my zone. The guy in front of me in my mirror is checking the players and calling to me and saying, "Hey, Donaldson, left shoulder." I go over, left shoulder, pal, you're gone. That's it. So that we don't have to. People that think they're going to make us run around and do stupid shit in the woods to try and distract us, doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. We also do some crazy, like our 1-for-1 rules. Anybody that's ever played one of our events, I can tell you this. If they're going to cheat or they're going to pull shenanigans, they only do it once because we'll hammer you. And, I'm the guy that'll be in the flag station saying to Aftershock, all right, Mike, Bruno, whoever, if you do any kind of crazy shit, I'm immediately calling on the radio to pull Rennick Miller. I don't care if it's the nearest player, wherever Rennick is, and then you can deal with Rennick after the game. But the radio judging, anybody that's experienced it would probably be able to say that, it's probably the best way to judge Woodsball. It
sounds fantastic.
Works out really well. We're going to have 8 judges on every field minimum. That's judges on the field. We also have sideline judges that are outside, can't make calls on the field, but they can call into our judging staff on the field as well. So you don't have guys sideline judging and, yelling shit on the field. They got to get on the radio and say, Kevin, this is going on over here. And then I have to, if it's in my zone, I obviously have to check it. But everybody hears what's going on.
Right.
The other cool thing about it is that with the radios is that being that we're all experienced tournament players and have probably pulled every possible kind of shit known to man, in our experience, it's that, we can see the game develop.
Yeah.
So in other words, we're on the radio and guys on my team on the right wire might say, hey, and I'm on the left wire, might say, hey, Donaldson, 3 are sneaking around, shifting left. They're going to push the left side. And we can move the judges to adjust for that push that's developing. We stay away. We don't dog anybody. It's really a great way to judge. And, the other thing we do is that we're very strict with our rules, 1-for-1s, 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s.
Right.
But we're also good at understanding that you're not going to pull those penalties unless a player has an infraction that actually impacts the outcome of the game.
Right.
A guy with a pack hit that runs 10 yards and dives in a bunker, never pulls his trigger, never shoots anybody, never changes the outcome of the game, is never going to get a flag. That same guy gets shot in the pack, runs down, shoots 2 people. He's obviously been hit, impacted the game. We're going to pull a 2-for-1 for that. If he hits 1 person, it's going to be a 1-for-1. So, we're strict, but we're fair because we understand that everybody comes to play paintball, not worry about bullshit reffing calls.
Right.
Obvious hits, wiping, everything's handled accordingly. But the main thing that we do is we make sure that if we pull a penalty, it had an impact on the opposing team. Because that's basically what the rule was designed for. Not for a bunch of idiots to run around throwing red and yellow flags for arbitrary reasons. If you don't impact the game, no harm, no foul, right?
Shut up
Keep
and play.
playing. Keep playing. So our judging, we pride ourselves on our judging, as you can probably tell.
Right.
And, without, seeming like I'm braggadocious or anything, we're good at it, we're good at it. and you'll appreciate it. So that's about all I got to say about judging and reffing and how we do it.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
Well, that's awesome. So now this is one of the oldest fields, and because of all the stuff that's going on, how are you guys setting up differently to bring the teams in to make it more appealing or safer, or are you guys choosing to try to ignore, like, how are you planning on altering things a little bit to make it more COVID friendly?
Well, what's going on, every week here, every few days here, things change. So originally we had a lot more, a lot more things that we had to do to try and be like COVID compliant, so to speak.
Right.
Originally, we were actually going to have staging areas that were 50 feet apart from each other, large enough for everybody to social distance. Each team was going to have their own staging area. Each team was going to have their own porta potty in their staging area with a lock and disinfectant. The porta potties were going to have to be cleaned and sanitized Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, or removed Sunday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Masks are obviously going to be required, but a lot of that's changed. They're allowing I don't have to do the porta potty thing anymore. I don't have to have every team has a porta potty, but we're still going to probably have at least a porta potty for every 3 or 4 teams.
Right.
Because that's just another expense. Each porta potty is like a $300 bill, so if I was doing that for every individual team, it was expensive, but we were willing to do it.
Right.
We're talking about changing the breakout, obviously. I mean, you can't have 10 guys breaking out from a small area, so we're either we're testing it out every weekend when we're playing and working on the fields. Okay. Either 6 feet apart, so a 60-foot start box, and we're also toying with the idea of anywhere along the back wires. So you could start the back corners or anywhere in between, just be 6 feet apart. We've played it that way a couple of times. It plays well, but it's different.
Right, and that would change the whole dynamic of the game, like completely, because you wouldn't know where automatically to start your first lines.
Yeah,
like it would just change it all up, and you would never know from a starting standpoint. I kind of like that idea.
Well, it's kind of cool. What we found is that where normally the center gets out farthest, the wires get out much farther now. So it's real easy to get it three men at the 50. Well, not on our fields, because if you run to the 50, you're not gonna have much gas left. Our fields are used. Our fields are massive, massive, and the terrain is grueling. So you better be in good shape.
Yeah, well, it's New York, so it's
absolutely. Well, it's not like, I mean, 2 of the fields are flat, but we have a lot of ridges and little drop offs and stuff you got to learn to play. This isn't one of those postage stamp, mini X-ball fields in the woods type of deals. This is nothing like that.
Right.
Our fields, you better, if you're going to come and play this event, you're really going to get a good experience, because you're going to get to play basically the original old school Woodsball, on original old school Woodsball fields. These fields were at one time 15-man fields.
Right.
Not 10-man fields. So communication from wire to wire is damn near non-existent. You can't see your boys. So, you've got it. You can't, the game is much more challenging mentally. So you better have a good paintball IQ, because you not only are attacking, you got to worry about defending, because it's very easy to wind up with 2-3 guys in your back door real simple.
Oh, yeah.
You have to execute crazy shit. Like, how do a lot of guys that didn't come from back in the day like us, don't understand how you conquer a rock wall at the 50.
Right. Or tree wall, et cetera, et cetera.
Breaking a wall at a 50 is not it's not something that's easy to do.
No.
So, you have to shift a lot of players, and you got to run cross field left and right. And it's tough. It's really tough. So it's a good experience for people that have never done it.
So So you've got 7 teams going. How many fields are you guys going to be running?
I have 3 fields prepared.
Okay.
So, because like I said, I had 38 teams. I was going to go to a 4th field, but what we're probably going to do is we'll play preliminaries on 2 of them, and then the 3rd field will be blind for semis and finals.
Nice.
So when you make the semis and the finals, the fields you played for the day and a half before, you're going to have to go back out there, walk that field and learn it, and we're not going to allow you to walk that field until the preliminaries are over. So you can't come in on Thursday or Friday and walk the third field. And I'm not going to tell you which one any of them are. That's blind. You'll figure that out when you get there. So those of you that have played these three fields before are not going to know which two are going to be prelims, and you're going to have a blind semi and finals on the third field. That's our intention.
I love that idea.
Yeah, everybody's going to
idea of walking fields.
Yeah, everybody's going to get to play each team twice, one from each side, each side. Therefore, coin tosses are irrelevant. Can't win or lose this event on a coin toss because you're going to get to play each team. Each game will be the 100-point system, so you'll play two teams, 200 points possible. Which is really cool too because coin tosses don't matter.
Right. Now, do you lose points for eliminations?
You can't, your own I'm trying to get away from that.
Okay, perfect.
No, I mean, Jerry and I will disagree on that forever. My opinion is saving bodies and having live bodies count stops people from making freaky moves and doing action, because they're, it's like, we got to win this game, but we can't lose. We can only lose 3 guys. Bullshit.
Yeah, I never liked that rule either.
To win the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't train my guys to play paintball and live. It's like there's only 2 things that are going to happen with my team when you play me. We're going to win or we're all going to die. There ain't no friggin' in between. There's no in between. We win or we friggin' all die. Unfortunately, the dying part, has been killing us for a little while, but we're okay. We're okay. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like that live body stuff. I just don't. It takes away some excitement,
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can win a game with 1 body left. You don't have to have 3 bodies left. And I want to encourage more aggressive play than people trying to attack and defend. I mean, that's bullshit to me. So if I can get Jerry to agree to that, and I've tried for three different occasions, and no, that's the way everybody does it. I'm like, I don't give a shit how everybody does it. I hate it. I hate having a game plan. We can only lose 6 guys. Forget it. I'm going to try and get rid of that, but we'll talk about that a little later because of this virus now, I can't plan anything. How many teams am I going to have? I don't know. What fields am I going to play? I don't know. So that's why if anybody saw my post today, I'm actually encouraging people to try to just come out and let's have an event, man. Let's play paintball.
Right.
I'm not in this. Jerry and I are not in this. I have people that, trolls that'll say it's a money grab. There's a virus. It's not a money grab. I don't give a shit about the money. Jerry doesn't give a shit about the money. The only money I care about is whatever we invest, I want to get back.
Right.
If I don't make a nickel, Jerry doesn't make a nickel, I could give a shit. I could really honestly give a shit. So, what Jerry and I are talking about doing right now is to encourage teams to come, is that any teams that want to come to this event or are considering coming to this event, contact me, private message me on Facebook. I'm going to ask people that are serious about, I'll give them any information they want. I'll call them, whatever, because I hate typing. We'll discuss what's going on. I'm going to ask for a $500 deposit for the entrance fee. Okay? That's all I want. Basically, that commits you. Once you're committed, I will form a chat of the captains that are committed to come to the event, and we'll discuss what they want me to do. Okay? If I get 12 teams, which is what I figure break-even point is going to be, paying judges, the $5,000 prize package, trophies, awards, all of that nonsense. We had to invest in a gas compressor so that I can make air more convenient at the fields rather than having to, every other event we ran quads and everybody put their tanks in the back of a quad and we ran guys all day filling air. The judging staff, obviously. If I can get that back, I'll give back credit for paint and entry fee so Jerry and I get our number. So if I got 20 teams, now the entrance fee, let's say it's $1,250 a team, right?
Right.
Everybody might get a $250 credit that they can apply to the field-only paint because, we had to go field paint only because of all these
Right.
nonsense too, you know. And we're doing paint at $35 a case, so who can complain for a good quality paint?
And
So
what kind of paint are you guys shooting? A Vulcan, isn't it?
Well, we have Vulcan and GI that are supposed to provide paint.
Okay.
But so teams have a choice between the two paints. Vulcan has been very good at supporting us and staying in touch with me.
Right.
And, how much paint do we need? But GI Sports has basically gone dark. I haven't heard anything from Billy Saransky. I haven't heard anything from GI Sports at all. So, I still want GI Sports to be involved because so many teams like this paint, they like that paint. I wanted to give them options. But if, GI is not responsive and GI is not interested in being involved with the event, it'll be Vulcan only. Everybody's going to have to shoot the same paint. I can't do anything about that. That's out of my control. If Billy, if you're watching this or anybody at GI is watching this, get a hold of me so we can straighten this out because we're very inclusive and we don't want to leave anybody out. I want everybody to be able to participate in this event, right? As a vendor or as a player. That's all I've done my whole life is work to try to make paintball a little bit better at the tournament level. So I really want to see this happen and get these people off the couches and get them out of their houses and let's go shoot each other. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Oh, wait, something's here. I got fields were originally 250 feet long by 200 feet wide. We shortened them a little, but not much.
That's Kenny Hefferly. He's one of my boys, one of the blasters. Was an ultimate judge for many years. He'll be up there running a splat table for us.
Sweet.
Kenny's an OG too. He's back from 82, 83 himself. He's one of the Hefferly twins. Most of the guys out there know who they are. Good dudes.
I've heard the name, but I can't say I know him very well. So Kenneth.
Well, Kenny Hefferly owns Zodiac Paintball.
Oh yeah,
if you've heard of that, that's Kenny. That's Ken Heff. That's
awesome.
Who you just spoke to. If you need any packs or anything, hit Kenny up. He's got some good product.
You know what? It's funny since I've started this podcast. Gear hasn't been an issue. It just hasn't. So, I'm looking for a couple new main guns. So anybody out there, it's a specific manufacturer, say hi in private. But yeah, no, I've been seriously blessed. But I would love to see some of that Zodiac stuff. I've heard nothing but fantastic things about it. So
yeah,
if I can get my grubby little paws on some, hell, I'll mail it back. But I will definitely give an honor.
If he's watching, he'll probably be sending you a request for an address so we can mail you something. Kenny is so generous, man. This guy is he's a small potatoes company,
Right.
He's really
they're the best kind.
Yeah, but he is just unbelievably generous. The guy, he sponsored the University of Tampa Spartans paintball team. The guy shouldn't be sponsoring anybody. Really, he doesn't have the business to do shit like that. If you're lucky, if you could get a big guy, a major industry guy to do that for you. And then there's Kenny Hefferly with his little Zodiac company. Yeah, but doing things for people all over the place. The guy is just way too generous. I'm always yelling at him about it. You're a fool, but great guy. I love him.
Well, I know that my favorite packs of all time were Unique brand. I just loved Rose's stuff, and I have a couple, and I have to get all the stitching the Velcro redone, but just love that gear. But so
Rose was another one though that was special.
Yes,
she sponsored damn near the whole world at one point. So who doesn't have a Unique pack that was around in those days?
But that's the thing though. It's lasted, and they were awesome.
We're made out of tent material. I mean, those things were heavy duty, man.
Hey, stop bullets. Forget.
It was like rip stop. It was, I don't know what, Kevlar. I don't know what the hell it was, but
okay. So we covered what you guys are doing differently with regards to COVID and stuff, which is awesome. And so you're at 7 teams right now. Do you have any more feelers? Does it look like you might get a few, or
I have a lot of people that want to do it, and everybody's just having difficulty doing it. You know, I mean,
right.
I have never heard so many reasons. I'm not going to say excuses in my
Right.
life not to do this. You know, I mean, it's scary. It's, you know, the press has got people paranoid because New York, you know, New York is not Manhattan.
Right.
You know, New York, upstate New York, where we are, I think at the peak, it had 1,600 cases and like 22 deaths.
Right.
You know, Jerry's property is 200 acres.
Yeah,
you know, we're not, you know, this isn't some like little airball field along the highway, you know?
Right.
I mean,
yeah, no, I totally get it. And I totally understand. I've had a number of invitations to come out just to hang out. Like I've got the offer to crash at people's hotels and people that are going to pick me up along the way. I just have to get the cross. But the problem is I legally can't cross the border.
No, that's what Jay Balaka was messaging me today saying, you know, I even had to ask him whose fault side is the problem, mine or yours? He told me it's your side that's the problem.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me even a little bit.
It's Canada, it's not us, even though I don't know about that, but it might be more Canada than us. But
yeah, you know what? Honestly, I couldn't tell you which country has a bigger Nimrod in charge. I really can't. And that's got nothing to do with parties or it's just the two idiots in charge. I don't even want to talk about them. So, but anyway,
I don't want to talk about politics either. I do enough of that on Facebook.
Exactly.
I'm not here to talk about politics.
So now I saw a quick post, and I'm sorry that I don't remember. Normally I do a little bit of homework, and I've got a whiteboard that you can't see where I write some notes, and I've got nothing for this show. It's nothing prepped.
We're winging it. We're winging it.
Exactly.
That's the best way to do it.
I totally agree. But I still like having notes just to sort of fall back just so that you can, you know what I mean? But that being said, the prizes for the Woodsball World Cup. Now before we get into prizes, I don't want to be that money hungry guy. The experience of playing Woodsball World Cup at one of the iconic events is the prize, no matter whether you win or lose. Like that is, it's being part of history. But that being said, what are the prizes for the Woodsball World Cup other than the obvious of making history?
Well, there'll be a $5,000 first prize, cash, and, you know, obviously awards and trophies. Again, I have issues here with even the prizes because, you know, we had an amateur and an open division, and right now the way things are developing, I don't know if I'm going to be able to break it out to an amateur and open division.
Right.
So, you know, we're considering one division, all open. And because of what we're doing here, allowing the amateur scores and the open team scores, any amateur that plays one of the open teams, their score really won't count against the open team. So the amateurs will be playing the All-Americans, playing Fox 4 Dark Side, playing some pro teams, but that score will not count towards their amateur bracket.
Right.
Okay. At the end of the preliminary rounds, we're going to give the amateurs that have maybe beat these guys or gave them a good game, we're going to give them an option to declare to play for the money. Nice. Or they can just stay in the amateur bracket and play for the amateur title. But that'll be their choice at the end of the event. So, you know, because there will be, you know, a lot of amateur teams will come out and say, oh, I'm getting my ass kicked. But they might come out and beat the All-Americans.
Right.
So why not at the end of the event if I say to you, hey, Joe's Army, you're the number one seed in the amateur bracket, but we're giving you the opportunity to just step up and play for the money.
Right.
What do you want to do? You could be top 4, or you can win $5,000, or you could be the winner of the amateur bracket and be number 1 for whatever that's worth. You know, I mean, because the amateur bracket's more about getting experience than it is a title. There's not a lot of bragging rights in the amateur bracket, but the object of this thing is to grow classic paintball.
Right.
So what I want to see is scenario teams, you know, teams that are out there that are a little nervous about going to something like the Iron City Classic. 35 years of listening or 30 years of listening to teams and how they feel about tournament paintball. It's all, I've heard so many things for so many years. I'm not going to spend $5,000 to come in 27th, to be embarrassed, to be whatever. No, man, here's your opportunity. Learn like we did back in the day when there was no differentiations between the teams.
No, you
had to play open. You had to play the best in the world. And we were proud in 1985 or 1986 to be 12th in the world.
I was just happy to be on the same field with the people I was reading about. Like, for me, like, I have never won anything ever short of sportsmanship awards, et cetera, et cetera. I have never been on a podium, not once, because all the teams I played for were always wounded teams. I was always a filler or whatnot. And you can't win podiums at upper levels with filler teams. You can't do it. So, I was always getting my ass handed to me. And you know what? I loved every minute of it. Like, being out there, being able to go toe to toe with icons and heroes. And, like, for the life of me, I don't understand why somebody wouldn't, like, let's say you're playing hockey and say, hey, you got a chance to get on the ice with Bud Orr, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Of course you're going to get your ass kicked, but isn't just playing them, giving it your all, getting them coming back at you, isn't that just like the be all end all prize wise for me anyway? Like, that's how you get better. Like, if you're playing schmucks, you're not gonna get better. You can run all the drills you want, I don't care, but if you're not out there seeing it and then having your heroes come up to you, and I use the word hero loosely, but those people that you idolize and respect coming up to you and going, that was a really great game. Now, if you'd done this, you know what I mean? And then you treat them with respect. Those icons, they invite you to play with them or practice with them, and they teach you, and you just keep building. So, sorry.
Look, if you want to be the best, you have to play the best.
Exactly.
Really, honestly, that's the simple answer to that. Yeah, another thing about us that, if you're not a local team or you really don't know the Master Blasters, we are very good at coaching, newer teams that come to these events. I've had teams come to previous Woodsball World Cups or, team events we've had here. And, we've taken them in one event from knowing nothing to being pretty damn experienced because, we'll talk to them. Hey, man, that was a good move, but you got to do this. Your communication sucks. You don't have codes. You don't have wristwatches. You didn't walk the fields. We spend a lot of time with them, and we always do. We had a new team come out from the Saratoga Springs area of New York a couple of weeks ago that wants to play this event. And they came down, and I had my pro squad there practicing against these guys that have played nothing but scenario ball.
Right.
And, they called us up and what do we need, do this and that. I said, you better bring watches. Watches? What do we need watches for? But we spent the whole day with them. They came in, took a beating, of course, because my guys don't know how to just take it easy on anybody. We didn't hurt them. We didn't overshoot them or anything like that, but we ran them off the fields in 3-4 minutes. But at the end of the day, they were happy, and they were like, we just came down here, have never played Woodsball. And we know that you guys are like the 8th ranked pro Woodsball team in the world right now.
Right.
And they had a great day, but any of you teams out there, if anybody's watching and you're on a newer team, you could come out here and you can talk to us and we will help you. Come in early. I'll walk the fields with you myself.
No walking fields.
Huh?
No walking fields.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying, right. You guys got to, if you want to be competitive in a higher level, you have to learn these things. A lot of the guys that are coming, the All-Americans, they're great guys, the dark side guys. Don't be afraid of these guys. Ask them. We all want you to play classic paintball. That's what we want you all to do. We want to make, this isn't a major event where people are going to be blowing each other's faces off trying to hurt each other. It's not. Next year's a different story. This year, it's not. But I just want everybody to come out, have a good time, experience what we're doing. This is a revolution. I'm sure you've all heard about it. This isn't news. I'm talking to them, not you, but here's your opportunity. Come on, let's make this event happen. I don't want to cancel this event after I've suffered through this whole COVID thing and dealt with all this nonsense, built fields, and been out there every weekend swinging chainsaws and stick piles, and oh my God, I'm hurting. I'm an old man.
Now I have a question for you. Getting back to the prizes quickly, it's $5,000 cash. As amateurs, are they getting prizes or just
the amateurs are getting bragging rights and inexperience?
Okay,
that's all they're getting. I can't get. I'd be lucky if I could get a pair of socks right now from a manufacturer.
Oh, okay.
He's got, we had so many good intentions.
Right.
Like when I had 38 teams, Jerry and I were talking about, let's pay down farther. Let's we got 5 for first. Let's go 25 second, 1,000 third, 500. Again, we're not in this to make money, but the more teams that came in, the more money we received. It was like, let's spread the wealth. Even consider paying amateur prizes or Kenny. Yeah, see, all right, Kenny, good. I'm going to take you up on that. You're going to give me 10 packs?
Well, what I was going to suggest was, I remember back in the day.
See what I told you about Kenny?
Yeah,
the guy's
super nice guy.
A little mini company, and he's giving away prizes, and I can't get GI Sports to do it. Come on, what's wrong with this world?
Well, we'll give Rabikoff a call, and we'll see let's see if we can kickstart him from Rabikoff's section of it.
But you can't blame them because these guys have been shut down for months.
Oh no, absolutely.
How do you ask? How do you kick a guy when he's down?
Watch me.
I know, but we just can't. Look. This whole thing is just a shit show because of this virus.
Oh no, really absolutely. Is. Oh, and there you go, 10. And if you want, I'll put in some cooling towels.
Amateurs, you got 10 Zodiac packs. How's that? Say thank you to Kenny.
Thank you, Kenny. I'm not getting anything. It's the Woodsball.
Yeah, you could if you come down with 9 other guys and play amateur and win.
I gotta fight through the border first.
Oh, come on.
Anyway,
there's ways.
One of the things I was wondering was, remember back in the day, there was pros played for cash and then amateurs played for prizes. Remember, that was the dividing line. And I know a lot of people wouldn't play pro because once you played pro, you weren't allowed to play amateur, and there was more amateur events than there were pro events. Not only that, but a lot of the amateur prize packs were actually worth more than the cash prizes in pros.
Sometimes.
Right.
It wasn't with the first, but sure wasn't when we did the first World Cup and gave away $75,000 in cash for first prize. No, 16 teams paid 70. Jerry Braun wrote a check for $75,000. So, that's a nice chunk of change for 1990.
Right.
Please.
So what I was wondering was, hypothetically speaking, and this is just an idea, I'm not telling you what to do, but hypothetically speaking, what if you went from a cash prize or a prize to an actual equipment or gear prize? You've got enough contacts, you could probably buy stuff at a wholesale price that most people can't get it at. So you would still have a big prize pack, but it would cost you less. And then you could have less teams playing to keep the thing going. So it would bring your costs down.
Well, that's a great, idea. The thing is that I can't promise people one thing and then change it. That's one of the reasons why I want to get this group together, because if I have a group that agrees to these things, I'll make those adjustments.
Awesome.
But the original intention of the $5,000 was my thought was, if I have teams coming from Canada, multiple teams coming out of California, teams coming out of UK, teams coming out of South America, Mexico, their expenses have got to be partially covered,
right.
at that level. We all know what it costs to play this game. I never expected to get a large, I had an international base of open teams.
Right.
All traveling, not local, because the local teams are us in ground zero, and we're not allowed to play.
Right.
So
and I know
every other team,
the UK Predators were planning on coming, and
absolutely. Marcus Davis he's miserable that they're not coming. He's absolutely.
Oh yes, he is.
But
I love
that
guy so much.
That guy's awesome too. Marcus and I go so far back. I have nothing but respect for Marcus, and we've never played together. We've played against each other,
right?
Oh, absolutely. That's a Predator.
Yeah, but that's his mask. That's the original prototype.
Well, maybe you'll play better if you wear that.
See, that's what I'm hoping.
It'll be like that movie, The Mask, with Jim Carrey. Maybe you'll turn into a pro player wearing it.
Turn into Loki.
But and now it's a shit show. But I can't say to the All-Americans or Image or Fox 4 Dark Side that I'm no longer going to give them that money. If they have no problem with it, again, when I have a group of captains that are actually attending, if people agree to those kind of things, I'm willing to make those changes.
Right.
But we always knew, like I said earlier, I got off topic, but the open teams are the ones that really travel. They're the ones that really put the work in.
Right.
The amateur teams, even the list of amateur teams that we had, they weren't coming from California. They weren't coming from Texas.
No.
They were local.
Right.
So, your local teams, to give them $5,000 is foolish, it's just.
I don't expect that for any second. I just thought it might be kind of a neat idea that, since there's only 7 captains you have to talk to, send it out to them and just say, hey, what do you think? It was just an idea.
Seven captains. I'm not going to have an event.
No, I know.
If I don't have 10 to 12, if I don't have 12 teams, I'm in trouble. I'll run it with 10 just to run it. But that's not an event, man. That's a freaking Sunday practice here for me. I can get 7 teams on any Sunday up there to play.
Right.
I don't need them to pay $1,250 and spend the weekend here to do it.
Right.
They can come up, give me $25, bring their own paint, and we can play anytime we want. That's not an event, and that's a weekend practice. That's a mega practice. So,
right.
I want an event. I want the teams that come to this to have a good time. I want them to have a bunch of diverse teams to play. I want younger teams, inexperienced teams to become experienced teams. Maybe they'll go to the ICPL. Maybe they'll say, hey, next year I'm going to ICC. This shit was the shit. That's my plan. I'd love to be on this show right now bragging about how I sold out 40 teams in 8 minutes and, everything's going to be great. And, we're back to the paintballs, butterflies and unicorn shit, but that ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Right.
The question is now, do I have an event or don't I have an event? And it's up to you and not you personally, but all of you out there, the players. If you want a damn event, I'll give you an event. Vote by attending, vote by getting in touch with me.
And you're not just giving them an event. You're giving them an iconic event. Like this is an original opportunity to play at one of the single greatest fields paintball has ever known, bar none, in the entire history. Reffed by some of paintball's biggest icons, and you'll be playing against some of paintball's biggest icons. Like this is a no-lose situation. It's just all the craziness that's going on. I will be honest with you. If I could cross the border, I'd be there. If for no other reason than to hang out, take pictures, and you know what I mean? But I want to play. I totally want to play.
Hey, look, if you could cross the border, I'd have 40 teams in 3.5 weeks.
Right.
That's the issue. That's the whole issue. Can you imagine trying to book airline tickets when your home state says if you go to New York, flying from New York, you got to self-quarantine for 14 days?
Yeah.
This is what people are dealing with. What could you do about it? Really? And I just don't want to cancel the event if people want the event.
Right.
They'll regret not having it because there'll be nothing from now till ICC. And if you aren't in ICC, there's going to be nothing for you like this till Chicago. And when is that? October? Come on, you guys are going to not play competitive paintball for almost a year?
No, Chicago's canceled. It's World Cup.
No, Chicago ICPL.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
Nope, that's Chicago Ice. I'm a classic format guy. I'm not an NXL guy. I'm not an airball guy.
Well, they have classic format at them as well, but regardless.
No, I'm talking ICPL classic. That's not classic format. Just because they're shooting mechanical guns doesn't make it classic. Field. Yeah, it doesn't. It was
pretty cool though.
What?
It was pretty cool when I saw it though. Like,
it's always look, paintball's cool no matter how you play. No matter how you play it. Let's face it. But the environment. You haven't been to an ICPL event.
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen what a good job that the NXL does at those events.
Right.
But those are events like the ICC, the ICPL. I was hoping our event. They're reunions, man. They're Woodstock. They're it's Super Bowl. It's all that shit that's off the field that makes it just so cool. I'm doing this competitively for 33 years or whatever the hell it is.
Right.
And I still am excited to see everybody and shoot the shit and reminisce, and that's just so cool, Steve.
I totally get it. That's the thing I hate most about my podcast. And that is I have so many great friends like you, for example, and my friends that I made in Chicago and my friends in Florida, and Vegas. And I only get to see them when I get to travel. Like I was talking to Joshua Silverman today about other stuff, and it was like, dude, and you know who Joshua Silverman is, right?
No, I never heard of him. Please, anyway, dude.
I was talking with him. I was like, dude, I would give anything to come over, pop a cold one, sit on your porch, and just talk about this instead of computers. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy doing a podcast. I love being able to reach out with you because you're one of my classic heroes. I grew up reading all about you in the magazines and stuff. And I love this because this is better than no connection at all. But it's not the same to shake your hand, bear hug, pop a cold one, sit, relax, and we won't talk about firefights in hotel rooms or food fights.
All the nonsense that goes on, sure.
All that stuff that happened back in the 90s
that coming back, though. That shit, that's next. You'll be seeing all those shenanigans starting up again because you just got a bunch of 50 and 60-year-old men doing it. It's crazy. No, but it is. There's so much more to. A lot of people that go to the NXL, and I go to a lot of NXL events, and I don't want to put them down at all because they've just done a fabulous job with everything that they've been doing. And there's a lot of young kids that never experienced the things that I have, you have, the old school paintball thing. But when you go to an NXL event, it's almost sterile. Like the teams come, the teams go. Some guys say hi, some guys don't. Some walk past you. They're walking around like they're special, and you have very little contact with them. But when you go to like a classic event, I don't give a shit if you're a new guy that's never played before. Us old guys are just so like accepting,
yes,
and easy to approach, and we'll tell you anything and we'll help you anyway and we'll hang out with you. We don't go home. We chill and we drink beers and we bullshit and go on. You want to, hey, okay, guy, I don't know you, but I got beer. You want a beer? It's a totally different freaking feeling, man.
And for those new players that are gonna show up, know this: if they're not insulting you, they don't like you. If they're razzing you, they like you. Come talk to them. Like that's sort of a rule that most people don't realize because it's like
I also don't want to let anybody or make anybody believe for 1 minute that we're not the biggest bunch of assholes you're ever going to want to see inside that tape. Yeah. But that's where we leave it. Yes. We'll motherfuck you. We'll call you names. We'll scream and curse and carry on and shoot you 55 times like anybody else does. But once you go outside that tape, man, you forget that shit even happened. You forget that shit even happened.
Well, it's give and take. It's part of the game. It's just like rubbin's racing. That's just the way it is.
Hey, that's how I came up. You know, nobody took it easy on my little 26-year-old ass back in the day.
No,
you know, and the kids like when we brought the kids, it was, you know, we shot you ourselves if you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You know, like, you get 5 balls in the back of the head if I told you to go and you waited.
Oh,
you know, if you gave me time to pump that gun and get a ball in the back of your head, you were going to get it. You better be gone faster than I could pump that fucking gun. Shooting 500 feet per second with no chrono.
I remember being novice and going up against the bushwhackers. Oh
boy. I know where that's going. Ronnie Kilborn and those guys.
All I'm going to say is at the end of it, it was Ronnie or somebody. I assume it was Ronnie, because at the time I'm like, it's kind of foggy back then, was like, "Welcome to paintball." I remember that being yelled out across the field. It was just like, oh, it hurt. But you know what? You take your lumps, you get back in, and that's what makes it great.
That's what makes it great, man. It's so awesome. You know, I mean, I am so happy that classic paintball came back, because it's a friggin' like it's a real cult thing. You know, I mean, the guys that have done this they're special guys, all of them. I don't care, you know, intimidating, scary, you know, but you know, it's got to be scary to be getting cursed out by a 60-year-old man, you know, and freaking the fuck out. It's like, yo, grandpa's fucking nuts. Grandpa's lunatic. You know, I get that all the time. Like, Jesus Christ, man. You know, like, aren't you like 80? I'm like, doesn't mean shit, man. Doesn't mean shit. You want to go on a field with me? Be ready for grandpa's shit.
I'm as good once as I ever was.
Oh, man, I'm much calmer now because I have no thyroid, so I'm not half the friggin' asshole I used to be inside that tape, you know. What?
Oh, well, that just turned my brain into an sketch, which is like, start over. I think we were going somewhere.
I don't know, man. I'm fucking rambling. I'm good for that.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
I'm a talker.
So the main reason why I think most people are going to be tuning in, and we don't want to scare them away, is is there anything about the Woodsball World Cup that we're forgetting that you'd want to make sure people know? I mean, we discussed the reffing is going to be fantastic, and we discussed the radio zone reffing, which I'd never really heard of. I think that sounds brilliant, I gotta say. And let's see. We discussed that how many teams you wanted. Now, is there any way of, hypothetically speaking, let's say that you've got, like, I know that when I was playing, I always played 5-man. I wanted to play 10-man, but we played 5-man because that was the easiest way to form a group or a team. Is there any way that you guys have set up where if you've got little groups of people, if they want to contact you so that you can say, hey, and set it up so that people can make their own teams?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I'll take free agents or, you know, small groups of people and make a team out of them if that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
You know, again, contact me. You know, I'm open to anything. Look, I'll do anything to have this event. Okay. I mean, and again, I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier. It's not about money. I don't give a rat's ass about the money. You know, let's have an event. You know, let's have a good time. Let's play some paintball. You know, I mean, going and, you know, if you really sit down and think about what the cost of this event is for a 10-man team that normally brings 12 guys anyway, it's $100 a guy for 2 days of paintball.
And $35 a case, which is wicked.
$35 a case, shit, man. That's like cheaper than going to a scenario game to shoot people in jock straps with flamingo hats. I mean, are we, you know, what are we talking about here? Yeah, you know, I mean, you want to play competitive paintball? Come out,
check, please.
Jesus. You know, I mean, this is what you want to do, man. This is the next level. This is the next level. It's back. Lunatics like, you know, all of us crazy bastards that have been doing this for the last 12 years are doing this so that you guys got a place to play. Another competitive venue, another avenue. Scenario games are great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love Living Legends. I love, you know, going to the big scenario. I'm not downing it. I'm just saying, like, every scenario team that I talk to, because, you know, if you know anything about me, anybody out there, again, watching, I bullshit with everybody. I don't walk past anybody without having a conversation. And I talk to scenario teams all the time, and I try to, I'm always curious to, why you don't transition. Every one of those teams has at least 5 or 6 guys that want to do it. You got the 5 or 6 guys that are really competitive, and then you got the flamingo hat and the jock strap, and you got the, tutu, and you got the purple guy, and you got the green guy, and you got the dinosaur head. You got all that shit, but there's always a half a dozen that want to make the next step. Make the next step at the Woodsball World Cup. Sorry, dude. Maybe you shouldn't have me on this show.
No, man.
You don't want to hear how I feel.
Honestly, I want you on more often. I just wasn't.
I swear to God, on my daughter, on my girl, everything that's me. I love everything paintball. But, it's all cool. I do it all. I don't wear the jock strap and a flamingo hat, but I'll be out there playing scenario games. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Not playing X-ball anymore because I can't afford to fucking be out of work for the rest of my life, breaking my neck. But I'll play anything. I'm good. I'm game. I love you all.
Especially
no matter how ridiculous you might look.
And you do know that my jersey is mostly personal for the Ali Remembered Foundation and all that, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm not. If I insulted anybody,
I'm just getting an Ali Remembered Foundation plug in there.
Dude, Ali Foundation is such an awesome, awesome, awesome thing. It's unfortunate where it comes from, but it's an unbelievable thing. And if I can help them, I'm not really friendly with Andy. I don't know him that well, but if he ever needs anything from me, man, he can just call me, hit me up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got no problem jumping on a plane and doing anything for anybody.
Well,
just know that if I do that for you, you just sold your soul for the devil. And when I make the phone call, you better be there.
Well, I do know that they're having a charity event in Denver.
Okay.
So, we'll talk afterwards. It's like a big game. There's going to be some auction. Actually, there's going to be some auctions, both live and internet stuff, and a bunch of people have donated. So, it's going to be a good time, and I may be in Denver. So,
well, if dates work for me, I'll make it. But I have a major, this professional team the ICPL team, the Blaster Pro team,
right,
is just really my number one focus right now. Because I've got a really, really good group of young players that are pretty much new to this whole thing. There were a bunch of D3 guys and a couple of my old guys, and I see such a great future for these kids. It's unbelievable, and I've been playing a long time, and I've got a hot tub, actually, a 6-person hot tub that I never put water in because it's full to the top with trophies. That I just throw in there and throw the cover on because,
I want to see a picture of that. You need to post up a picture.
I could do it, but I'd have to take a ton of shit off the top of it. It's right behind me because I'm in my backyard right now.
All right, well, not right now, but you got to post a picture of that.
Even my World Cup is in there. It's like I got tons of shit. I got too much shit. I can't stand it. It's just plastic to me. But, I got a bunch of guys that have never won any of that, and I talk to them all the time and say, guys, come on, we got to work. We got to work hard. I want them to experience that win.
I'd love to experience one win.
Well, one's not good enough, but I want them to experience winning, really winning. These kids have been playing like D4, D3, D2, all for years and years and years. And now they have an opportunity to be on a professional team. Even though it's classic, I know a lot of people think that is meaningless, but it's really not.
You know what? I have a beef with that because with airball, it has a certain set of rules and it has its own flow. And I understand that it's the most expensive guns and it's right now it's the accepted as the best. And I am not knocking that those guys like Greenspan and whatnot, those guys kick ass and they are true paintball players, no matter what anybody says. But the actual format of airball itself, while I have nothing against it and I enjoy it because paintball is paintball, to get out into the woods, 10-man have to think, have to communicate more, have more going on. Your guns are a bit slower, so it changes the skill set that you need, because snap shooting, thinking on your feet, communicating, I think that it's harder to play old school paintball than new school paintball. I honestly believe that airball, the format, not the players, but I honestly think airball is lazy paintball.
Well, I could say something about that, but I'll only get in trouble. I'm not going to take anything away from those guys because they're athletes, man.
Absolutely.
They are just,
Oh, yeah.
I was athletic, but when paintball came around, I was already a 26-year-old, office out of shape dude, So I was, I'm an athletic guy. Yeah. Okay. But not anything like these kids. Not only are they athletic, they're committed, man. They are seriously committed to the game and to getting better all the time. Yeah. A lot of people, that argument, that bullshit argument about it's not professional unless you get paid is bullshit. There's many definitions of professional. That's one of them. But if you're going to spend more of your life getting involved to be the best at something, you're a damn professional.
Right.
You act like, if you could have the commitment and the focus to do what we have to do for no real glory other than a win and a ton of fucking money, you're a professional. I don't give a shit what level you're playing at to put that kind of. Now, the guys that want to go out and they want to get together on a Sunday and form, whatever, the weekend warriors, and they want to go play. All right, that's a D3 team or whatever. But if you're committed to playing in a professional bracket, you act like a professional, you work like a professional, you perform like a fucking professional, you're a professional.
Agreed.
All right. So anybody that's got to say anything else about this getting paid bullshit. I know people that get paid to sit on their ass and do nothing. They're not doing half the work these pro paintball players are doing.
Oh, no argument.
I spent my lifetime missing my brother's weddings and I almost missed the birth of my daughter in 1989 because I was the Line SI Masters. I got divorced over it when I got home, for Christ's sake. And, what am I, an amateur? It's nuts.
Right.
Don't get me started on that whole argument. Christ. You want to put the work in?
That was Gary Baum. Gary Baum, by the way. After 20 years of covering airball events, it's like watching the movie Groundhog Day.
Oh, God. All right, I'm going to say it. I've said it before, and I got a lot of slack for it. But my opinion of airball is, okay, you give me 20 good-tempered chimpanzees and a truckload of bananas, and in 3 points, I'll have a friggin' airball team. All right? Run out, take the snake, run down to the 50, shoot inside. Here's a banana. Do that 5 times, the friggin' chimpanzee's going to do it every time. I know I'm insulting a lot of you airball guys out there, but in the woods, that shit don't fly, man.
Yeah, no.
I'm not saying that about everybody. Again, I'm not saying that about everybody because there's a hell of a lot of airball guys that got paintball IQ.
Right.
And these are the guys that are on top of the game.
Right. Like I said, you're not slagging the players. You're slagging the format.
I'm slagging the mechanical, mindless. It's more. It takes more brains now that there's not sideline coaching, because that had to be the goddamn most ridiculous thing I ever saw in my life.
Agreed.
But but no blind formats. It's so robotic, man. It's just so. When that game first came out, I played it 2 or 3 times and I totally lost interest. I was like, man, I'm a tactical guy. I'm not a tactical guy because I dress in camos. I'm not a tactical guy because, I got a planned military strategy. I just like to play the chess game of paintball.
Right.
Not the checkers game of paintball. Checkers bored me. Tic-tac-toe bores me. I want to play chess. I want to play Castle Risk. You know what I mean? I want to take over the world when I'm out there. I don't want to run out, shoot a lane. I hit a guy on the break. Hey, not me. Those of you that love that shit, keep right on doing it. But if you come out and you play a classic event, I will guarantee you that you will be a much better paintball player, even in airball. And I'm going to give you another example if you want to hear it. My team, as I said earlier, the Master Blasters Pro team is made up of a bunch of Division III guys.
Right.
And I'm not going to insult them, but I am going to say that these guys would go to play Division III X-Ball, go to the NXL events, finish 23rd, finish 22nd, all right? They played not even a year with us in the classic format. Last year, they at the World Cup, no, was it the World Cup? Yeah, it was the World Cup. After playing a year in the woods, hyperball, with our program and our training, the old guys, actually teaching them the mental part of the game, they go in and finish fourth. Finish fourth. They could have won that goddamn event.
Yep.
So, I mean, to me, that was like a test that you got to have all the skills that the average airball player has. We all agree, right?
Yes.
You got to have that athleticism. You got to have all those things that those kids have, those guys have. But you throw the paintball IQ in there, really field awareness, communication, tight communication, fire and movement, cover protection, all those things that we have to do in the woods. What you do in the paintball field, on the airball field, just becomes simple. It becomes simple.
Yep.
I mean, look at the better, older. You bring up Ryan Greenspan, excellent player.
Wicked.
He is phenomenal. Timmy Montresor, great player. Ryan Moorhead. I mean, I can name 20 or 30 guys, but guess where they all started? The whole dynasty team started playing Woodsball as kids.
Yep.
Greenspan, Frazee, Lang. I can name. Some of the best. Ryan Moorhead, Chad George. These guys are like some of the best Woodsball players I've ever seen. And look at how they perform on a professional airball field. Believe me, man, it's you could play airball all your life and suck in the woods, or suck on a hyperball field, or suck on a mounds field. But you play well on a mounds field, a hyperball field, and especially a woodsball field, you will be a great airball player. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. That's all I have to say about that.
I am enjoying this talk so much. I can't even begin to tell you. Thank you again so much for being on. I'm not cutting it short. I'm just really, really enjoying this talk. I haven't laughed this much in weeks.
Well, I'm sure I'm going to have 900 messages tomorrow about being an asshole. But you know what? Anybody who knows me in paintball will tell you I do not keep my opinions to myself. I never did, and I don't intend to start now. And again, I love this game. I love the people. I wouldn't be here for all these years, but I have my opinions, and you don't like them, sorry. But I'm sure I'm striking a nerve on a lot of your listeners, or your followers right now. But if you really get down and think about it, you're not going to deny it. And if every time you want to debate me or you want to have an argument, I'll be more than happy to do that too, because I've been around a damn long time, Well, one thing I do know is paintball.
Honestly, I don't think you're going to offend any of my listeners, because most of my listeners tend to be old schoolers. Like they're out because they love the game, and that tends to be the people that follow my show the most, is people that truly love the sport. And I love that because I love the sport, and it doesn't matter if I agree with you or disagree with you. The fact is that we both love it and we both want it to improve. And that's the be all and end all at the end of it. Like, I am not a MagFed fan by any stretch of the imagination. Doesn't mean I have anything against it. It just goes against everything I learned growing up. So when I get a hold of a MagFed gun, it's just sort of like, there's too many bells and whistles. There's too much. I want to streamline this. Like, you know what I mean? I want to compete. I want to win. I want to try hard. And this intentionally slows me down, and intentionally it limits so much. And then it's got extra buttons, and I can't enjoy MagFed. That doesn't mean I have anything against it. And that doesn't mean that I don't like other players that play MagFed. By all means, play MagFed. Let's play side by side. You be the sniper, I'll be the machine gunner. We'll play shoulder to shoulder. But I'm willing to bet you feel the same way on a lot of those issues. You know what I mean?
I don't. I really don't, because
Okay.
I honestly believe that if there are people out there that enjoy to play mag-fed paintball, let them play mag-fed paintball.
Oh no, I
Now,
agree.
I'm not. I'm not a rec kind of player, and to me, I think mag-fed is still in a rec stage. It's a recreational scenario kind of thing, which has never been my thing. From the day I started first time I played paintball, I wanted to compete.
Right.
I mean, I wanted to play. I wanted to kill people. I wanted to be out there. I wanted to be one of them. I never wanted to be the rec guy. I only lasted a couple of weeks because back in the day, the minute you went away from the Splatmaster or the Nell Spot or the PGP, you no longer played rec, man. You were thrown in with the wolves. So I only lasted 2 days at that before I had my first gun, and it was like, you aren't playing with them anymore, Donaldson. Meanwhile, I played 2 days of freaking paintball, rec. So, but if you want to play mag-fed, play mag-fed. In fact, I have this stupid thing in my head that bounces in my head every once in a while saying, Donaldson, why don't you try and hold a mag-fed tournament? Why don't you bring the shit, the Woodsball tournament scene to the mag-fed players?
Right.
Let them come out and, give them everything that we're doing now, but allow them to do it mag-fed.
Right.
I follow it and I kind of hide in the shadows, and I like troll. I'm like looking at their shit all the time, waiting to finally see that there'd be a call for something like that.
Well,
if they wanted to do that, I would love to see a mag-fed event, to see how it would work, But that's what I'm about. I'm about the whole tournament environment. I'm about that, that brotherhood of guys that do that. It's that have done that, do that, and the recreational side of the business, it's so important to the business because, we obviously need that to get more fish in the pond. But recreational stuff doesn't appeal to me. It's got to be competitive.
Right.
It's got to be competitive.
I will tell you that I have a follower named Christopher Struck. And I've actually had him on the podcast. He's talked to me numerous times about wanting to have a mag-fed tournament. And I know mag-fed's really growing up here. So there are people out there. So I could start a group and see what's what. Maybe for next year, get it rolling.
Because I'd love to do it. And I'm sure that if it became something that the NXL would do it as well. I mean, they're always looking for more stuff to add to that, that scene.
Right.
I mean, I think, I personally think that mag-fed, mag-fed tournaments with some tweaking and, hey, look, every single thing we've ever done in paintball started with nothing. 2-3 teams was your first Woodsball tournament. Then it was 6-8 teams, then this developed, that developed. We can try something mag-fed where maybe you could add a little tactical kind of a thing to it, like, I don't know, I mean, I'm not a mag-fed guy. I mean, but I know that, guys like Doug Brown and all those guys that are like, if they want to do something, man, again, hit me up on Facebook. I'm easy to find. Kevin Donaldson, just punch my name in. You'll see my ugly mug in my blaster hat and, click on it and let's talk. I mean, I got a venue. I can do it at Jerry's.
2021 mag-fed World Cup.
Look, whatever. I mean, hey, look, like I said, come on, stop friggin' Kenny, stop fucking up my damn thing here. He's sending me messages. Kenny, call me later. Anyway, I mean, I'm open to anything. I'm all about anything paintball. If it's paintball, believe me, I get my girlfriend to come out here and she'll tell you. She'll tell you, and this is not a lie, too. I'm going to give you another story. That when I first met her, I got divorced. I met her. I know her all my life. And when we first started dating, I said to her, Wendy, but if you think you and I are going to get together and we're going to be together, you need to understand the order of things. I said, my life is my daughter, paintball, my cat, then you. That's the order.
Really?
We've been together now 9.5 years, and she's past the cat.
Okay, fair enough.
Paintball is number 2 priority in my life after my daughter. That's it. So,
Right.
I mean, I'm about anything paintball. And even though I criticize people and I insult some of you,
If you don't
it's all
insult them, you don't like them.
it's all in
We
fun.
established that, right?
Yep.
That's old school paintballers. If we're not insulting you, we don't like you.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. That's true. That's true.
all right, my friend, is there anything that you want to reach out or any thanks you want to give out to people before we shut this thing down, like sponsors or uh, anything? Anybody want to give a
Well,
shout out to, my friend?
well, there's so many people I could shout out to. We could be here for another hour and 20 minutes, but
Let's
I
go.
want to thank you. I want to thank you for having me on. I mean, I'm going to generalize by just thanking everybody in paintball. I don't care whether you were a manufacturer, you're an opponent, a teammate. I mean, I appreciate all of you, and I thank all of you for me even being here now. I mean, if it wasn't for everybody out there, whether anybody that plays paintball and the game of paintball itself, I don't know what the hell I'd be doing right now. Probably be in prison.
Sleeping night, maybe.
I'd be
gardening.
Out Best Buy down the street or something, or been a crack addict or a fucking junkie. I don't know what I would have been. Couldn't afford to be a junkie playing paintball. Can't afford to do shit.
No, you cannot.
No. It's the best thing to do to stay out of trouble. Parents out there, if you got kids, get them playing paintball. They'll never get into drugs. They won't be able to afford it.
And they'll be better. They'll be healthier. They'll get outdoors. They'll turn off their video games.
Hell yeah. I mean, I can tell you that right now. I mean, I had to get off the liquor and shit because I couldn't afford it when I first started playing. It's all good. I really want to thank my teammates. I want to thank the Master Blasters.
All right.
Because again, without those guys, I wouldn't be here. I mean, I've had 30 years of experience with these guys, and as a captain, originally as a player, and again, I can't name all the names, but there's been so many generations of this team, from the original Blasters to the Blasters transition to Ground Zero, and then the Ground Zero transition to New York Extreme, and then ultimately, the split between the the airball guys and the Woodsball guys that became, New York Extreme and RT's Raiders, which was our scenario team that not too many people know about. It was all of us undercover. But, and then back to the Blasters again. I mean, I thank every one of those guys that have been a part of that. I mean, I quote the Blues Brothers, 15 years ago when I said I'm going to put the band back together, and I started making phone calls and actually put the original team back together. I mean, everybody, generations of guys have played on this team. I mean, we carried up to the Blaster GZ split 2 years ago. We were a 116-man roster that consisted of probably the biggest names that ever played in New York. Historically. So I thank every one of those guys. I'm not going to name names again. I mean, I want a quick shout out to my sponsors or the team sponsors.
Bring it.
Valken Paintball, Gino, Will, the guys at Valken, they're just amazing. I mean, they support us like nobody really ever had before. I mean, I put this team back together. It wasn't even really a team when I decided to bring the Blasters out of retirement. And I made a phone call to Gino, and I'm like, "Yo, Gino, you want to sponsor my team?" And he's like, "What team?" I said, "The Blasters." He's like, "There's no Blasters." I said, "I'm putting them back together." I didn't even have a team
the band
yet.
back together, man.
I was just by putting the band back. It was just a bullshit thing. Like, will you sponsor the Blasters again? But you don't have a team. I know it. I got 3 guys, I think. Gino was right there. He's like, anything you need, Valken's behind you. And he's been behind us the whole time, the whole entire time. So, I mean, what's better than that? We have other sponsors out there, that take care of us. Many field sponsors. We've got PSI New York, Jerry Bronsfield. That's been our home field since this team started back in '85 or whatever it was. That's been our home field. But along the way, we've got several fields that help us out. We've got, Battle Creek Paintball up in West Milford, New Jersey. Straza and Steve Nelson and those guys, they're great to us. Whenever we need, to play a certain type of a field, there's so many different types of fields in the area that we actually have to practice in 5 or 6 different locations to get all the different terrains. So, for certain events we play at certain fields. Battle Creek is another one. We have Top Gun paintball. A lot of people are familiar with Top Gun. Carl and Jimmy down there, they're great to us. Without guys like that, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. We've got Cousins Paintball, and they're 3 locations in the area. And then we have OXCC in Maryland, Brian Barnow's field. Brian, another guy, helps us out, with a location to practice. These guys are instrumental in anything we do. On the other end, we've got, I don't force anybody to use 2 items on this team, guns or goggles. And that's because I believe that your gun or your marker and your goggles, you got to be comfortable with that. I'm not going to force those down your throat. But, we're fortunate, again, that all of the manufacturers are willing to help us, understanding that that's kind of my policy. So I can't name a specific goggles sponsor, but, whether it's Push or it's, or it's Dye or whatever it is, they're all backing us. Guns, markers, Shocker Paintball has been really, really good to us, but so is Planet Eclipse. So, we're not committed to one marker, but both of those companies, give us great product, give us awesome support. They help the team out as much as they can. So, like a lot of guys have to will credit one individual product. We don't do that because I can't. The only thing I make people buy that everybody has to have is the jersey. Hopper's the same thing, so I'm not going to give you, Virtue's been great to us. Dye has been great to us. Everybody's good to us. We've been around forever, so it's not that hard for us.
Right.
Our bottles, we're very committed to Immortal Air and Danny Colby.
Yes.
All right. And that is, no offense to anybody else. It's the history that we have with Danny.
Yep.
Danny is one of my probably closest friends, in the game. We speak constantly and we talk we're constantly giving each other bullshit. But
I love that.
Immortal Air's product, there's a lot of stuff out there, but again, I'm kind of an old school guy, and I'm going to say something that's probably going to piss off some people again, but my attitude is, why would I want to buy a product from the horse's ass when I can buy it from the horse's mouth? Danny Colby invented the shit. So why would I want to use anything else? Really, honestly, And again, any manufacturer out there that's mad at me, I don't give a shit, because Immortal Air, Danny's the man, and John, those guys are awesome.
Oh yeah.
Who am I missing? Zodiac, Kenny Hefferly.
That's why there's an Immortal Air tank sitting right there.
Oh, dude, his new reg. I can't wait to get these new regs. I just really can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. It's a game changer. I've tried some of his stuff before, and a lot of people say, it's bullshit, this and that, but I'm telling you, fact. Danny's regs, I get 2 more pods out of a tank with Danny's reg than I get with anybody else's reg. Now, again, Powerhouse, if there's anybody out there, I have never used your product, never touched it, hardly even ever seen it. So I'm sorry if I'm insulting you. You don't deserve it, because I really don't I don't know anything about your product. Back to Kenny Hefferly, Zodiac. Unbelievable. Kenny Heff has helped us in more ways than I could ever, thank him. Still continues to do it. And who the hell might I be missing? Oh, Carbon Paintball, another great company. Awesome products, good jerseys, great pants. Their undergarments are fantastic. The guys at Carbon have been really good to us for the last year, and we're definitely going to continue with them for another year. At least
I've heard nothing but good things about Carbon, but I've never owned any of their gear.
I'm telling you, man, their pants are like, they make these really thin pants that are like indestructible. It's really a well-made product, and their jerseys, I love their jerseys. their undergarments, they're fine too. The products are really good. It's a quality product. It's definitely, if you haven't seen Carbon, definitely check them out. Definitely check
Well,
those boys.
I've seen Carbon stuff. I've never actually owned any to use any. Like I've been at the last 3 NXL events and they've got booths there. And so like that new pack that they have that all collapses, that's just such a brilliant idea.
Bunch of our guys have those, but here I am again being the old school, honorable guy. I'm not putting down my Zodiac pack for anything.
Well,
you have to take that off my dead body. Simple as that. I'm going to support the guys that support me.
Right.
And
that makes perfect sense to me. I'm just saying. Now, Frank Connell here, he keeps asking for a shout out. I'm not sure if you know who Frank Connell is.
Oh, please. Come on. Frankie's the man. Frank Connell is awesome. Frank Connell, as everybody knows, he plays for the All-Americans. And, Frank has moved to New Jersey now. And I've been, looking at Frank as my next acquisition for the Blaster team. But that's never going to happen. He's got too much respect for his guys.
Right.
But if there was a guy that I could have playing on my squad, it would definitely be Frank. Frank is just an awesome guy. He's
been begging for a shout out for like the whole thing. So
I couldn't see it was him. I mean,
no, that's because he doesn't know how to press the button to say allow StreamYard to use the name. It's like right at the top. But
Frank's been coming to a lot of our practices lately. I think he's trying to get the book on us. Because.
Well, that's the way the All-Americans do it.
Oh my God, they're studying us too. Frank is going to know more about us than I know about us. So, but that's all good because for years and years and years, this is funny too. I don't think there was more hate in paintball than the Blasters and the All-Americans. And that's historic. That goes way back. I think if you talk to Billy or Adam Gardner, they would probably say the same thing. We just hated it. We got in fist fights, in Boston and bench clearing brawls and all that kind of shit in the middle of games.
I remember them.
Yeah, well, that happened. And, in the last year, our relationship with the All-Americans has become completely different, which I thought would never happen. Never happen. The hatred between us was so bad that, I wouldn't allow our guys to touch anything that said Smart Parts at one point,
Right.
It was that, I'm punishing a company with decent product because of a bullshit thing that happened 25 years ago. But that's what we do.
Yep.
But now those guys are so good to my younger players, man. They all at the last ICPL, they were coming up and telling these kids, giving them advice. Who does that at that level? 2 pro teams. Who does that? I never would expect that from the All-Americans. And that's 100% guys like Gant McClellan and Spesh and and Brett and Frank Connell. Those guys have been good to my kids, and I appreciate that. I say my kids, but they're really not.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I honestly think, and this is going to sound funny, but I honestly think we all grew up. Like I remember in the 90s, and I was in the Diablo camp, and I don't know if you remember much about Ontario paintball, but there was the paint wars, and if you were sponsored by one paint, you couldn't even be friends with somebody from another paint sponsor, and that was big in Ontario, more so than anywhere else in the world. And it was vicious, and from that, it knocked me out of paintball it was a big part of one of the reasons why I left, because I wasn't having fun anymore. Do you know what I mean? And I think that we all realized that. So when I came back to paintball, I vowed that I would not, under any circumstances, allow paintball politics to get in the way. And I have to say that while I'm sure there's still some paintball politics out there, a lot of the teams that I had very little respect for, or companies I had very little respect for, everybody's changed and everybody's stepping up. Now, there's still a few bad apples, as there's always going to be no matter what in any division. But I really think paintball's grown up, and a lot of that stupid animosity is gone.
I don't know if we grew up or it's just that if we could last this many years without killing each other, there's got to be some love there, right? There's got to be something more there. And that's kind of how I feel about it. I got over a lot of things. It took a while, but I got over things. We have been beating the shit out of each other on a paintball field. In my case, some of us for 30 years. 30 years, man. I mean, that's like, what professional athlete has that career? What did Derek Jeter retire at 42? I don't know. I'm just guessing because I don't really give a rat's ass about him. I'm more interested in Ryan Greenspan, you know? But it's I think that's what did it. This bringing this classic thing, we go back to that when you say things like this, is that when we first all saw each other, when everybody, the majority of teams, I think it was the second ICC, the second, when most of us that haven't seen each other at a UWL or didn't see us at the 18-team ICC, that second ICC with the 54 teams, I never saw so many guys that motherfucked each other for so many years just smile and be so happy to see each other. It's crazy. It's crazy. But we're getting old now. Guys are dying off. You got to put this in perspective, man. 30 years in paintball, 35 years in paintball. It's a lifetime. Right. It's a lifetime. Can't give that up no matter what happened. You got to forgive. You got to move on, and let's start a new era. Let's pass something good on to the next generation. Even though they scream for make paintball more violent. They scream for more hate, but you know what? These don't know. These snowflakes don't know what the fuck they're gonna get if they keep pushing that shit. You don't want a Brock Joel fucking breaking your neck. You don't need a Bobby Rose stomping you into the dirt. These guys don't know what they're asking for. Make paintball more violent. Holy shit!
Do you remember the steel cleats?
Oh my God! Please. Please, it was bloody knuckle gang.
We grew up in the wild, wild west of paintball, man, and it was just
absolutely, and I miss every minute of it. But I'm not going back 61 years old,
But I don't think people can handle it.
Yeah,
there's no way that players today can handle what we did. Not a chance. They go squirrely if their locking neck doesn't work right. We were doing things with stovepipes and electrical tape and
please. The shit we went through, pushing bolts back with broken sticks. You'd be out there in the field climbing the trees trying to get a stick to push your bolt back on your Icon Z or whatever because it jammed up and, please. Not this nonsense where they're having a stroke if the hopper doesn't feed a ball.
I don't know what it was about. I love my Line SI guns. I love them to death, but I don't know what it was about Line SI's bolts. No matter how hard you tighten them, they always wanted to back out.
Not if you had a Howdy bolt. That wouldn't happen with a Howdy bolt. When me and Jimmy Howdy invented that Howdy bolt, the first velocity adjustable bolt for Nelson-based guns.
Yep.
We took all that shit out, man. I mean, stainless steel screws, when they locked down, they stayed locked down. Anybody out there know about a Howdy bolt? They'll tell you about that. That was a secret weapon for a few years. I gotta do a whole nother show with you about product someday, in the development of 90% of the stuff out there. Because when we had Action Sports Outfitters, there wasn't a manufacturer out there that didn't run their ideas past us, because Howdy was like this friggin' wizard. You don't know anything about Howdy, but you talk about Automags and you talk. Howdy worked for Airgun Designs,
right?
But Howdy, when the Automags first came out, they didn't work. Howdy's the guy that made them work. I'm not going to get into that detail, but it wound up being a combination of dirty CO2, and that's why me and Howdy came out with that filter that used to mount on the side of that little stone filter that mounted on the side of the Automags. So, I can tell you stories about that shit too. I'm gonna lose my phone, dude. I got 5%.
All right.
So I'm gonna have to sign off.
All right. Well, we'll do it again soon, I'm sure. Thank you so much,
on
Kevin.
Facebook? Yeah, anybody on Facebook that wants to go to the Woodsball World Cup or is interested in helping me make this event happen, hit me on Facebook.
Yeah, even
Take
if it's
care,
small,
everybody. Thanks for watching.
groups of people, reach out to them.
Reach out.
I want that picture on the of all your trophies inside the hot tub.
Hot tub. My girlfriend was just here. My girlfriend just walked by. I should have told her. I should have had her tell you. But anyway, I got to say goodbye. I'm down to 4%. You ate up my phone. Love you, brother. Take care, Steve.
One. Bye
you
now.
too. Bye.
Well, how awesome was that, everybody? I mean, Kevin Donaldson, my face hurts. I've been smiling, laughing so much for this show through the whole thing. Like I literally hurt. Anyway, so that's my show. Thank you guys so much. Kevin had to bounce quick, which is understandable. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and keep your paint dry and play with passion, everyone. Talk to you all again next week. Ciao.